Archduke John of Austria, a member of the House of Habsburg-Lorraine, was an Austrian field marshal and German imperial regent during the revolutions of 1848. Biography. John was born in Florence, the 13th child of the Habsburg Grand Duke Leopold of Tuscany and Maria Luisa of Spain. He was baptized with the name of John Baptist Joseph Fabian Sebastian, after the patron saint of the Tuscan capital. In 1790, Leopold succeeded his brother Joseph II as Holy Roman Emperor, and his family moved from the Grand Duchy of Tuscany to the imperial court in Vienna. Only 2 years later, John's elder brother Francis II ascended the imperial throne. John's native language was Italian. He learned to speak French and German fluently. Educated by the Swiss historian Johannes von Müller, he developed wide-ranging skills and interests, especially in the history and geography of the Alpine countries. Military service. During the Napoleonic Wars, John was given command of the Austrian army in September 1800. Despite his personal reluctance to assume the position, he showed personal bravery in the War of the Second Coalition, but his troops were crushed at the Battle of Hohenlinden on 3 December. Demoralized by defeat, the army nearly disintegrated in the subsequent retreat, which was only stopped by an armistice arranged on the 22nd of December. After the Peace of Lunéville in 1801, Archduke John was made General Director of the Engineering and Fortification Service, and later commander of the Theresian Military Academy in Wiener Neustadt. In the War of the Third Coalition, John again fought the French and Bavarian forces. From 1805 he directed a naval defense of several Tyrolean passes against the French and was awarded the Commander Cross of the Military Order of Maria Theresa. However, according to the Peace of Pressburg, Austria had to cede Tyrol and Vorarlberg to Bavaria. John remained obliged to Tyrol and maintained friendly contact with Baron Joseph Hormer, who forged the resistance movement against the Bavarian occupation. In 1808, John pressed for the creation of Tyrolean Landwehr forces based on the success of the Prussian Landwehr, which played a vital role in the Tyrolean rebellion led by Andreas Hofer. At the commencement of the War of the Fifth Coalition in 1809, he became commander of the Army of Inner Austria, fighting against the French forces of Eugene de Beauharnais in Italy. Under his command were the 8th Army Corps led by Albert Gaillet, and the IX Army Corps headed by Albert's brother Ignaz Gaillet. After winning a significant victory at the Battle of Sasile on 16 April 1809, his army advanced almost to Verona. Having detached forces to besiege Venice and other fortresses, John's army was soon outnumbered by Eugene's heavily reinforced host. Worse, news of the Austrian defeat at the Battle of Eckville reached him and compelled him to order a retreat. Before withdrawing, he fought off Franco-Italian attacks at the Battle of Caldero between 27 and 30 April. Attempting to blunt the Franco-Italian pursuit, he stood to fight on 8 May, and was beaten at the Battle of Piave. Trying to defend the entire border, he sent Ignaz Gaillet to defend Ljubljana in Carniola, while holding Villach in Carinthia with his own forces. Eugene's pursuit overran the frontier defences at the Battle of Tarvis and wrecked a column of hoped for reinforcements at the Battle of St. Michael. Forced to flee northeast into Hungary, John offered battle again but was defeated at Raab on 14 June 1809. His brother criticized him for tardiness. After the conclusion of the campaign, John again evolved plans for a widespread rebellion. However, upon the Treaty of Schönbrunn, Austrian policies under Minister Clemens von Metternich sought a rapprochement to France. John's friend Baron Hormer and other conspirators were arrested. The Archduke himself effectively was sidelined and retired to his estates in Thurnberg. Post-military John, tired of warfare, turned away from the military and developed a great interest for nature, technology and agriculture. He collected minerals and was active as an alpinist and hunter in the Duchy of Styria. In his early days, Archduke Johann and his brother Louis had the habit of traveling to France, where the latter married Madame de Gerist. In 1815, on his visit to the United Kingdom, John received a Doctor Honoris Causa degree from the University of Edinburgh in the history of Styria. He is remembered as a great modernizer and became an important figure of identification for Styrians. His proximity to the people is given evidence to by his many contacts with the common man, by wearing the local tract, the Stereranzug, and by collecting and promoting the material and spiritual culture of the country. In 1811, he founded the Joanneum Museum in Graz and the predecessor of Graz University of Technology. Some other foundations were initiated by him, such as the Styrian State Archive 1817, the Burgundhatenmannische Lehranstalt, which was founded in 1840 in Wurdenberg and became the University of Leoben in 1849, the Styrian Society for Agriculture 1819, the Mutual Fire Insurance, the Styrian Building Society, the Landesburialschule in 1845 and the Society for Styrian History in 1850. His routing of the Austrian Southern Railway from Vienna to Trieste over the Semmering Pass and through the Mura and Mers valleys to Graz is particularly notable. The inheritance of his maternal uncle Duke Albert Casimir of Teschen enabled him to acquire a tin factory in Krems near Voitsburg and coal mines near Koflach. Thereby he also became an industrialist. In 1840, he bought the Staines Dominion, where he was also freely elected as mayor in 1850. He was already the lord of the Brandhof Manor in Mariarel. In 1829, he married Anna Pluch, the daughter of Jacob Pluch, postmaster of Ossie, and his wife Maria Anna Pils, during a nocturnal ceremony in Brandhof. By this morganatic marriage, John was excluded from succession to the throne. Emperor Francis elevated Anna to a Baroness of Brandhofen in 1834, and in 1839 she gave birth to a son, Franz, the only child from the marriage. His descendants were styled Counts of Meran, and Barons of Brandhofen, proprietors of Staines and Brandhofen. John was also a passionate mountaineer in the Eastern Alps and attempted to be the first to climb the Grossvenediger. For that reason, the Erzherzog Johann Hutter at the Grossglockner, and the Archduke John's Vanilla Orchid, an orchid growing on mountain meadows, are named after him. Imperial regent. Even though Johann did not consider himself a liberal, he promoted some liberal ideas. He was often in conflict with the Habsburg court, especially because of his morganatic marriage, though he never openly rebelled. He had earned great recognition in the Styrian lands. Moreover, he gained general acceptance by his jovial manners and his marriage with a middle-class woman. Upon the March Revolution of 1848, the Frankfurt Parliament discussed the appointment of an all-German government replacing the Federal Convention, on a proposal by the liberal politician Heinrich von Gagern. The Assembly voted for the establishment of a central authority and on 29 June 1848 elected Archduke John regent of the realm. As head of state, his political office did not offer many opportunities, though all laws had to be signed by him, and he appointed the ministers Anton von Schmerling, Johann Gustav Heckscher and Eduard von Pucker to office, completed by Prince Karl of Lindingen as minister-president and head of government. Archduke John did not take part in the draft of the Frankfurt Constitution, which was adopted on 28 March 1849, and pronounced against the strong position of Prussia. In December 1848 the government headed by Schmerling lost its majority in Parliament, and Archduke John appointed Heinrich von Gagern minister-president. When in April 1849 King Frederick William IV of Prussia openly rejected the constitution, he remained passive and Gagern handed in his resignation on May 10. John insisted that he would exert central authority. Nevertheless, after the final failure of the March Revolution, John resigned from his office on 20 December 1849. Archduke Johann died in 1859 in Graz, where the fountain erected in his honor dominates the central square. He is buried in Siena near Meran. He was the great-grandfather of noted conductor Nikolaus Harnoncourt. Ancestry.